It's Coach Ro from RocioFlores.com, and today's blog post topic is, should I go to college? Yesterday, I wrote about ways to learn without going to college. And so today, I wanted to do a video post because this is more of a discussion topic rather than, a list of do's and don'ts. And look at my cute little microphone that I got for Christmas. I haven't used it, so I did my hair today, so I thought I might as well do a video. Throughout the video, you're going to notice that I have a ton of glare on my glasses because of the light coming in, but I can't take them off or else I'm blind. So I want to be able to read the statistics that I have here on my computer without messing them up. And so some of the things that I want to go over first is, the first question is whether or not you can go to school. Then I want to talk about some of the financial statistics, some of the other benefits that, college gets versus not going to college, and whether it's the right path for you or not. So to start off, not everyone can go to school, unfortunately. It is expensive, and so a lot of families just can't afford it. It's not an option in their life. Some people can get scholarships, some people can't. So for those who can't go to school, go ahead and check out yesterday's post because that is going to be helpful for you. But for a whole lot of people, the question of whether they should go to school is just a legit question, especially when you look in the news and everyone talks about how millennials, they can't get the jobs with their degrees and how we're earning way less money than our older counterparts. And there is truth to that. So there are a lot of things holding back our generation and the people who are graduating right now. But overall, is it better to go to school? So there are a lot of studies, I'm not sure if you've heard this one before, that says that in your lifetime, a person with a bachelor's degree is going to make about $1 million more than a person with just a high school degree. So that sounds great. Everybody wants to make $1 million more. But that's provided you choose the right degree and get into the right job. Because only a section of the people who have that bachelor's degree are making over $100,000 a year. But the large majority are making less than $50,000 a year. And there are people who have a high school degree who are making more than the people who have a 4-year degree. So it really does come down to whether or not you chose a good degree and you're going into the right career path. Obviously, if you're going to school because you want to become, a doctor or you want to become a lawyer, anything that requires licensing, you're going to have to go to school. So it's not a question of whether you want to or not. It's a question of going and whether or not you actually want that job. So if you're going for like a liberal arts degree, or I used to work with someone who had a 4-year degree in philosophy of religion and was working as a line cook. So there are going to be degrees that while you learn a lot and you probably love the experience, money is not going to be the best. So if you have the ability to just go into your dad's work, and he can give you a job and a career after school, then great. Go ahead, go to school for whatever you want. Whether you want to or not want to, you get to choose whatever you want to do. But if you are going to depend on this degree for your livelihood, then you really got to look at how much you're going to be making, whether that job is going to be available by the time that you're out of school, and whether or not that job's going to be growing, and so you're going to be able to continue to go to, continue to have that career. There are a lot of careers that might be obsolete in the next few years, while there are a lot of like health degrees right now are booming, and so there's going to be jobs. People keep getting hurt. So another thing that you want to think of is the actual financial statistics here. Let me show you. So, and for the Pew Research Center, they found out that about so when it comes to poverty levels, people with the bachelor's degrees are usually around 5%, which is a lot lower than people with only a high school degree. They're all the way at 21%. So that is, that's a pretty big difference. That's a lot more people living under the poverty line. But when it comes to unemployment rates, people with a bachelor's degree are only around 3.8, which is usually lower than where the economy overall is at. But people with high school degrees are all the way up at 12%. So whether or not you think that your degree is going to get you, a good job or good money, you do have to take a look at the majority of people who didn't get a degree are more likely to struggle in the future. Also, the National Center for Education Statistics just did give us like average amounts for how much a degree gets you. So about a master's is around $60K, bachelor's around $50,000, high school $30,000, and then non-high school's $25,000. So these numbers held up across the board. So that means with regardless of race, regardless of gender. So none of those things affected those numbers. So that's kind of around the amount that, again, provided that you chose the right career and the right job. Now, these numbers have changed, though, since, our grandparents went to school. So I've got a little statistic here that's talking about the widening gap, earnings gap between, silenced early boomers and all the way down to millennials. So back in 1965, the difference between somebody who earned a high school degree and a person who earned a bachelor's degree was only about $7,000. That's nothing, right? But to these days, the difference between a high school degree and a bachelor's degree is about $17,000 a year. So a high school degree isn't being worth as much as it used to be. Back in the day, people could just get a high school degree and then they got a good job and then they got a house and then they got kids and then they sent them off to school. These days, minimum wage doesn't pay for anything. You can barely get like a nice place to live, like an apartment. So it really comes down to what you want out of your life. Do you want to be living paycheck to paycheck? Are you okay with having a job that pays well but is very, very hard? I know that people who work in the oil fields, they make good money, but it's not easy work. It's steady work. It's, that you do get to make a good amount of money for the year, even though you work maybe half a year sometimes. But it's hard work. Are you okay with working that way till you're 65? On the other end of that, you could start your own business. I know people who didn't go to school, who didn't even get a high school degree, and they're running 7-figure businesses right now. And it really just came down to how they applied the education that they had, the knowledge that they did have. Some people go through, high school and college and even a master's, and they are not the smartest people. And I don't know if you've ever heard that term, C's get degrees. A lot of people take that very literally, which means that they didn't put all of their work, they just tried to get the grade. And that's going to make a difference regardless of whether you go to school or you don't go to school. How much are you willing to work to learn the information that you need in order to do the job that you want to do? So other than those jobs that force you to have a degree, the business that you want to go into or the type of work that you want to go into, can you learn that stuff outside of college? Ask yourself that, because for the price of school right now, from a cheap school that's only about $40,000 for a 4-year degree to a school that's $200,000, which one is going to get you what you want? Is paying that much money going to be worth what you're going to be working in and what you want to do for the rest of your life? Will it help you retire early, etc.? So I hope that this kind of helps you with deciding based on finances. Some of those other things that I kind of saw people, I was looking up some articles talking about some of the benefits of going to school, and a lot of people talked about, networking, having fun, getting to know yourself, or these are the privileges of some people's lives. When I was going to school, I definitely didn't think about whether I was going to have fun. I was about, am I going to learn what I need to learn? And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a 4-year degree. I was only able to get a 2-year degree because of the cost. But a lot of people can go to school with the intent of just learning about themselves, getting themselves where they want to be, and getting to know the right people and having fun. There's definitely tons of school that are known for partying. So it depends on what you want to get out of your life. If you're looking at the future and you know that you want a certain career or you want a certain type of life, figure out right now while you're still young, before you go to school, whether that's going to be what's going to get for you. On that same note, do you know what you want? Do you know what kind of life you want to have? Do you know what your values are and whether or not a certain career is going to fit your values when you get there? A lot of degrees take years to complete for you to go to a job that you then don't like because it just, it clashes with who you want to be in life. I did a blog post a few weeks back about how to decide what your values are and what values are in general. And I think that's a really important thing to do before you start on any kind of career track. You should know who you are, what your personality is, how you do your work, what your temperament is, what your values are. And that way you can figure out, what your purpose in life is, what you want to hope for, whether or not a certain degree is even going to be something that you can handle, or will you not want to work toward it because it bores you or because it just sucks. So go ahead and check that blog post out and check out yesterday's post about how to learn without going to college. Definitely, if you have already chosen that it's just, it's not in your path, then check it out. That way you can see what else you can do, because while I don't think that college is necessarily mandatory in everyone's life, I do think learning is. That's a big thing for me. I think that everyone should continue to keep trying to learn in their life. So definitely check that out. I'm also going to give you guys a few links here to different pages from the Pew Research Center and the National Center for Education Statistics and Forbes and several other ones that I thought were interesting, that give us really good information. And then I'm going to link you to a post by ASAP Science on YouTube. It's a video, and they give you a little information about whether your school matters. So, some people really, really want to get into Ivy Leagues, and some people have to go to cheapy schools. Does that matter? I mean, does paying like 5 times more, is it going to give you any benefits? So, plus the videos are really cool, so you should follow them anyways. Go ahead and check out those links, and if you like this video, please share it with people. And thank you for watching. You have a great day. I'll try to make more videos because I know they're a little bit easier to digest than big old long written posts. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great and blessed day. Goodbye.